Okay, today I'm going to share continuous writing descriptive. Questions related to camping trip. Okay, we have continuous writing question in SPM 2017. Describe the first time you went on a camping trip. You should write about the activities at the camp and explain how you felt about the experience. And then we also have directed writing, letter, informal, to inform a friend about a holiday camp, SPM 2005. Okay, so we are going to answer the CW question, SPM 2017. Camping is an excellent way to spend one's holiday, whether with family or friends. Camping is a beneficial hobby that allows one to bond with Mother Nature and forge sturdier friendship and stronger family bonds with friends and family. For some, camping is a wonderful holiday activity to be done once or twice a year, but for me, it is a passion. I've been on many camping trips throughout my life. Some trips are more memorable than others, but one trip that will forever remain vivid in my mind is my first camping trip. So as you can see here in the first paragraph, the writer gave a general idea about camping. So it is still in present tense because it is a fact. Alright? Next, second paragraph. I still remember it as though it happened yesterday. Okay, so here we are going to start to use past tense because this writer is going to write about her or his experience during the first time camping. I still remember it as though it happened yesterday. The azure sky heralded an eventful day for my friends and I. Ben and Mike were all hands at camping, but for me, it was my maiden trip. Early in the morning, we met at Ben's house as his father would be driving us to our destination. I was agog with excitement and could hardly sit still throughout the entire drive there, much to the amusement of my friends. We arrived at Aikaro Forest Reserve at 10 o'clock in the morning. Ben, who was our unofficial leader, had already planned an exciting array of fun-filled activities for us throughout the whole 2-day camping trip. We kicked off the trip with a hike to our camping site. For a city dweller like me, it was an eye-opening experience to be surrounded by Mother Nature. The hike was long and arduous, and it soon became clear that I was quite out of shape. I was huffing and puffing after the first 10 minutes, but Ben and Mike looked no worse for wear. I secretly suspected that they were slowing their pace for me, although they denied it. The entire hike up through the dense underbrush was hard work, and we were constantly bombarded by the incessant shrieking of insects and other small wildlife. However, the three of us had a lot of fun, and we were amused by my repeated attempts to swat the mosquitoes that hovered around me. Nevertheless, I was relieved when we arrived at our camping site 45 minutes later, sweaty and tired. Just as I was about to sit down on the ground to relax, Ben announced that we would have to pitch our tents first. With a groan of dismay, I got up to help them. Before that day, I had never touched a tent before, let alone pitched one. Suffice to say, my first attempt was a spectacular disaster. I had managed to tear a hole in the tent flap to the exasperation of my friends. Together with their help, I was able to pitch the tent without any mishaps. I felt very pleased with myself because I had learned a new skill and could pitch a tent, although I was not very adept at it back then. The next activity on Ben's list was fishing. This was the part that I had been looking forward to the whole day because I was an avid angler. When I was little, my grandfather used to take me fishing in his small boat. He was an expert, and I learned countless tips and tricks from him, from how to bait the fish to how to clean the fish I caught. Lady Luck was on our side that day. We had managed to catch 5 fish in an hour. I had even managed to teach Mike to clean his catch, although he looked queasy throughout the whole process. We were in high spirits and returned to camp with our catch. It was almost dark by that time, so Ben and Mike started fire using twigs and dried leaves. In no time at all, we had roaring fire to cook our catch. Although we had no salt and pepper to season the fish, we were ravenously hungry, so we did not care at all. As the English proverb goes, hunger is the best spice. Later that night, we took turns telling horror stories around the campfire. It was a new and exciting experience, but a scary one too. I was terrified by Ben's story, so I slept fitfully that night. It was a clear night with no clouds on the horizon, so we brought our sleeping bags outside and slept under the stars, lulled into sleep by the occasional hoot of an owl and the scampering of a rodent through a bush. I felt safer sleeping together, and the experience of sleeping under the stars was one that I will never forget. The next day, we woke at the crack of dawn and had saltine crackers and energy bars as our breakfast. The three of us then picked our way to the river to bathe and play in the cool water. We had a whale of time splashing around in the refreshing water for a few hours. All too soon, however, it was time for us to head home. There was a heaviness in my stomach as we packed our belongings. I had a fantastic time and I never wanted to leave. My first camping trip was a success and inspired me to take up camping as my passion. Now, 2 years later, I still go camping with Mike and Ben every month, but I will always remember fondly the beautiful memories I had on my first camping trip.